Madam President, I rise today to support and to request the Senate's approval of this resolution, which would designate the second week of November as National Pregnancy Center Week in honor of the life-saving and life-affirming work of America's community-supported pregnancy centers. I'm asking for my colleagues' unanimous consent because there's absolutely nothing contentious about this resolution, Senate Resolution 312. Nor is there anything contentious about the pregnancy resource centers commemorated by this resolution. There are approximately 2,500 pregnancy resource centers in America, and every single day they serve an average of 65,000 women and men faced with challenging pregnancy decisions, providing them with a wide array of resources. That includes, at many centers, health care services like pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, and testing for STDs and STIs. It includes emotional and educational support like options counseling and parenting classes. And it includes material and logistical assistance to help new moms and dads deal with all the little things that easily add up to big obstacles in the first few weeks and the first few months of parenthood. America's pregnancy resource centers aren't out to make a profit, nor are they out there to push a particular political agenda. They're just there to help, and to do so in a way that's compassionate, considerate of individual privacy, and respectful of the equal dignity of all human life. Madam President, any way you look at it, America's pregnancy resource centers deserve our recognition, and they deserve our respect and our gratitude. But the real measure of their significance isn't in the words of a floor speech in the United States Senate or the outcome of a vote. It's in the thousands of lives they help save from the pain of abortion every year, the millions of teachers, soldiers, and nurses, friends, and spouses whose lives and contributions to our communities we might never have known had it not been for the unassuming heroes down at the local pregnancy center, giving their time to keep the lights on, to answer the phones, and to help young women find the hope and the courage to choose life. And so, Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of S-Res 312, submitted earlier today. Further, that the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Madam President.
Is there objection?
Madam President.
The Senator from Washington.
Madam President, reserving the right to object, I would ask the Senator to modify his request to offer a resolution that actually helps move women's health and rights forward. Simply put, the resolution the Senator is offering is just more of the same. It is another effort to pander to the extreme Republican base by using women's health and constitutionally protected rights as a political football. And unfortunately, it makes clear for the umpteenth time that when it comes to improving access to affordable health care for women, some Republicans are determined to stand in the way of progress. Madam President, I expect that some of my Republican colleagues will say this resolution shows how much they care about women's health. The truth is, it shows the opposite. It shows once again that the Republican Party wants to interfere in a woman's medical decisions. Strengthening women's health care doesn't start with telling women what they should and should not do with their own bodies, but that's exactly what that resolution does. If my Republican colleagues really want to support women's reproductive care, they would work with Democrats on improving access to affordable birth control under the Affordable Care Act, including emergency contraceptives, ensuring women and families make their own decisions about their health care, not their bosses, and fighting back against efforts across the country to undermine women's constitutionally protected health care rights. Madam President, it's time for Republicans to drop the political attacks on women's health and instead join Democrats to focus on these priorities and more like them so that women, not politicians, not insurance companies, not CFOs or CEOs, are in control of their health care, just as it should be. That is why I asked the senator to modify his request to instead ask unanimous consent that the Help Committee be discharged from further consideration of S-Res 37 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. The resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and the motions to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Will the senator so modify his request?
Madam President, reserving the right to object. There is nothing divisive about this resolution that I've offered today. Nothing divisive whatsoever. This simply seeks recognition of the great work that is performed by the men and women who staff these pregnancy centers. There is nothing about it that is a political football. Nothing about it is designed to drive a wedge. Now, unlike our resolution, the resolution that I offered up today, Senate Resolution 312, which merely commends community volunteers around the country for helping young mothers and their children, hardly a divisive thing. The senator's counterproposal is divisive and controversial. My co-sponsors and I wanted only to recognize life-affirming and life-saving work, the kind of work that brings families and communities together. The counterproposal would only pull Americans further apart and further away from the more humane and compassionate society that all Americans deserve. Madam President, if calling for recognition of these brave and noble men and women who serve people at pregnancy centers around the country, if that's divisive, we've got significant problems. But the fact is, it's not. I'd encourage anyone within the sound of my voice to read Senate Resolution 312, and they'll discover that it's not the least bit divisive, doesn't discuss anything that's the least bit controversial. On that basis, I can't agree to the modification, and I object.